Hello and welcome to this brief video on the final step of the 2017-18 SWC action step form, which is the actual submission of your form so that one action step will be captured and become part of your program review once all of your action steps have been submitted and by the deadline that you have based on the level of program review for your program. We begin this video in section 5, resource request, because this is the last section that you'll be asked to complete prior to submitting your program review. In the resource request section, you are asked to identify those resources that are necessary in order to complete your action step. And those resources may be new resources or augmentations to existing resources. And you may choose up to 10 resources to support your action step. So when you are ready to indicate those resources, complete the fields that you see in section 5, making sure that all fields with a red asterisk are completed. And a detailed rationale is provided for why new or additional resources are needed to complete the action step. Make sure that you indicate whether the resource request is an instructional item, whether the cost will be ongoing or one time, and if you know the estimated cost, you can include that in the field provided. However, this is an optional step. Once you've reached the end of the resource request that you want to make in support of this specific action step, then you select No from the drop-down menu, and make sure you read carefully the information provided under the Submitting Your Action Step heading. Keep in mind that when you submit the form, you are submitting only one action step, and you need to complete the form again for every action step you would like to be a part of this year's program review cycle. It's important to note that all of the fields throughout the form that have a red asterisk are required fields, and you are unable to submit your action step until you have filled in all required fields. One important recommendation is that when you reach the end of the action step resource request that you are requesting, prior to clicking the submit button, that you save the form. You can do this easily by clicking the Save and Resume Later link. You'll be prompted to save and get the link. And then immediately you'll be able to go right back into the form, almost where you left off. And to the end of the completed form. The reason you want to do this is to make sure that all of the work you have done to this point is saved, just in case something goes wrong in the submission process and you lose your work. Also of note is, here at the Submitting Your Action Step stage of the form, you're reminded every program is required to submit an Outcomes Assessment Timeline with their program review. There are links for blank Outcome Assessment Timelines on the form, and there are instructions for how to use those forms on the Institutional Program Review Support Materials site. Once you've understood all of those steps, then you're ready to submit your action step. You can click Next, and once you click Next, the form will automatically verify that every required field has been completed. If a field was overlooked and that field is required, you will be able to go back through your form and find the red highlighted area which indicates that a required field has not been completed. To demonstrate, I'll click Next. I'll have a confirmation page reminding me that I am about to submit the action step form, and when I attempt to submit the form, I'm taken back to the beginning because I have a blank field. I've forgotten to indicate the email address for the program review lead, I can add that link, click Next, retrace my steps to the end of the form that I had completed and saved prior. And now I'm ready to attempt to submit. Once again, I come to my confirmation page and I click submit. Once I've submitted, I will receive an email at the email address that I typed into the field indicating that I have submitted an action step. The contents of the form will be included in that email. Once all of your action steps have been completed by the deadline, those action steps will be compiled into a single program review for your program by the Office of Institutional Effectiveness. Notice that when I clicked Submit Form, I was redirected to the beginning of the form again, a blank form, in case I wanted to submit an additional action step. This concludes this video demonstration of how to submit your final action step form. Other videos are available on the Institutional Program Review Support Materials site.